Hey, I'm Drew, and this is the Drew Petersen Podcast, home to one chairlift ride, ski pole microphone, and real story at a time. This chairlift chat is with Sierra Schlag, a Japanese-American skier and storyteller. Sierra is an awesome storyteller in all sorts of different mediums, especially films, and that's what we largely focus on in this conversation. Before we drop in, a quick note from this episode's sponsor. Happy feet means happy skiing. ZipFit makes the best ski boot liners in the world, full stop. I'm wearing my Gara LVs right now. I've skied about 200 days in them, and I will be wearing this same pair for many seasons to come. New this year, though, is a full line of insoles from ZipFit. The idea is the same as their liners. The connection to the ground, to your skis, starts with your feet. I've been running them in my ski boots, my mountain bike shoes, basically all of my footwear. ZipFit wants to offer listeners 25% off insoles. To score that 25% off, click the link in the show notes. And I know that's an extra step, but clicking that link saves you money and it helps support this podcast. All right, let's raise the bar. Keep your tips up and drop in. All right, Sierra, thanks for coming over to Ski Basin. I am going to give you the opportunity to talk about something that you'll always take the opportunity to talk about. Why do you love knitting so much?
Oh my gosh. Wow. No one has ever asked me this question. I love knitting because it is quite the opposite of skiing and you just get to sit and chill and zone out. And I really like making my own clothes, and that feels a lot better than like going out and buying clothes. So I'm my own fashion designer.
Always got needles at the ready. I saw a photo of you knitting on a raft, which has to also be a unique activity. Okay, I guess we can talk about, not that knitting isn't real, but I guess we can talk about real things now. Over the past few years, you've done a bunch of different things. You have your fingerprints on all sorts of stuff, from creating films to creating the Girl Winter Film Tour. I think the perhaps like most well-known film that you were involved in is Advice for Girls. Now you just launched all women's creative studio, creative agency. Mm-hmm. So all of that connects together through the lens of female empowerment. And like, obviously that's the purity of the motivation, but how have you gone about that MO in a way that is fulfilling for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think I have just working on Advice for Girls allowed me the space to work with all women, which I had never gotten the chance to do. And we all kind of realized that this is a space that we really want to be in without any, I don't know, sometimes spaces with men aren't always the safest, especially when it comes to skiing and you're like expected to do things that you wouldn't normally do or you don't feel comfortable doing. And so we just built this really safe and inviting and open space. And we were like, we just need to keep working together. And our creative brains just kind of keep going. And then we made this whole film tour out of kind of just like we were like, oh, we all have movies coming out, we should show them. And then it became the Girl Winter Film Tour, which was really successful. And so I guess we're like, we got to do it again. And then we're like, we really like working with each other and brands really like working with us. So we launched this whole creative studio, and it's all just been kind of like not random, like we've been working towards it, but it does feel very like serendipitous that we're just like, oh, these opportunities just like keep happening because we work so well together, which is cool.
And I think like that kind of illustrates how like ideas aren't like, they don't have a limit on them. Like the more ideas you have, it's going to create more ideas and snowball. What has made your approach unique, and the approach that you're doing with your friends through Advice for Girls, Girl Winter, all that you do? I want to hear it through your lens. What's different about it, the way you're doing it, than anybody else in the industry?
I mean, I think we saw a lot of gaps and a lot of people not being represented in the industry and in these stories. Like, I'm half Japanese and I know that my story wasn't being told. And so when we got together and made Advice for Girls, we're like, if this is going to be like an all-women ski film, then we need to include like a breadth and variety of women. So we had trans athletes, women of color, adaptive athletes, older athletes and younger athletes. And so we wanted to kind of just have a range where like everybody in the audience can feel seen and connect, which I never had growing up. Like going to ski movies, I was like, that's cool. There's like one woman in the ski movie, and she doesn't look like me at all, and we are not similar whatsoever. And so I think we just saw those gaps and wanted to make it a more inclusive and inviting place. And like that's the community we're building with everything we're doing with Girl Winter and Moonrise, and we just want more people to feel represented within the industry.
You hit on it there that you're building community, and that's definitely what stands out. Last fall when you created Girl Winter, I'm really sad I didn't get to go to a show. That's the nature of running separate film tours. We're trying to dodge each other's schedules. Yeah. But I was talking with a friend of mine who is a girl about why Girl Winter was so appealing, and it created this kind of surge and like tidal swell of energy around it. And I think that she put it really well, that a lot of the female empowerment, a lot of like the female-led media in skiing has often felt kind of exclusive still, like not just the stuff that men were creating, that it was like the token one woman in a ski movie, but even like some of the female focused stuff felt kind of exclusive. And the way she put it was that what you've created through Advice for Girls and Girl Winter is you're welcoming people in so that they're a part of what you're doing. Does that resonate, and how intentional is that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it was intentional. We were like, we just want to make an event that like we want to go to. And so hopefully, I mean, it showed that like a lot of people wanted to go to that. But I agree. I mean, I think society and the ski industry has like pit women against each other because we don't think there's enough space. And there's always been the token woman in like all the ski films and on teams, and teams are getting much more equal that way. But I think we've been pitted to think of each other as competition, and that's just like not the era that I've grown up in. And like all my female friendships are like the most important friendships I have. And so why not make everybody feel like a friend when they come to Girl Winter, and make pro skiers like not seem so like unattainable and unapproachable. We were like, we're just normal people, and we want like our community to feel like we're their friend, you know? So
that nails it, especially the pro skier side. And like the way I see it is like you're making a lot of bigger pies rather than just trying to take a bigger slice for yourself or yourselves. All right, so give us like literally the 10-second tease of your next film, That One Friend.
So it's called That One Friend because every pro skier needs that one friend to kind of bring them back down to reality and just like make them giggle and not take skiing so seriously. And it's about me and my best friend Waverly, who also lives in Carbondale, and it's going to be amazing and funny.
Shout out.
Shout out.
That still felt too short, so we'll have to do it again.
Perfect. Down. Thanks.
Thanks to Sierra for joining me for a chairlift chat. It's been really cool. Since we recorded that interview last spring, Sierra and I have become better and better friends. And my greatest takeaway from both that conversation and our friendship is that you go further and farther together. I think that is especially true with Sierra. She's a really good collaborator, and I think that comes through in a lot of her creative work. Since then, her and her friends have also started Moonrise Creative, a pretty impressive studio that's doing great work, and you can check out their latest film, Winter Elements, next fall. You can follow Schlag on Instagram @Schlag, and I also recommend reading and subscribing to her Substack. Of course, check out all her films, and you can also follow me and the show on Instagram @DrewPeterski and subscribe to the show's newsletter via Substack. Of course, all of that is linked in the show notes, as well as any discounts that any of the podcast sponsors, including this one, ZipFit, are offering you as a listener. That's it for this ride. Thanks for listening to the Drew Petersen podcast. Until next run, keep your tips up. Ski and enjoy, my friends.